Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. In my opinion, Xfinity's pulling a scam. They're overbooking, just like the doctor's office used to do before COVID, and like the airlines still are today. They expect that not everyone's going to be using their lines all the time, so they sell potential megabytes per second. When I signed up for Xfinity, I was told that I could get up to 100 megabytes per second. Now, at the time, that seemed pretty fast because I came off a DSL line. DSL line was running 12 to 14. And I had a lot of buffering going on. I remember watching YouTube videos over at the house in Union City, and you'd watch about 10 seconds of video, then it would buffer. And you'd watch about 10 seconds of video, and it would buffer. And I used to think, well, if I just stop the computer for a while, it'll have time to build up and get ahead of the video. And that worked a little bit, but it always buffered. So when we moved to Union City and I had Cablevision through Xfinity, and they promised that my internet would be 100 megabytes per second, I thought, wow, that's pretty good. And actually, in the beginning, it was. That was 2011, and I wasn't on the internet that much. I mean, I was doing videos, but I wasn't uploading every day. And I was watching videos, but I watched a lot more TV. And TV is actually a very narrow bandwidth. It's a low resolution signal, unless you buy HD. HD's more money. I bet if I bought HD, I'd be doing a lot more buffering on the TV. So, anyways, my Sony high definition TV works really good with a Bluetooth. Bluetooth never stutters, never buffers, never has a problem, but it feeds a direct line right into the TV. Well, we got tired of paying huge amounts of money. We were up over $200 a month just for TV, internet, and the phone, which is supposed to be part of the deal to make your bundle a little better. Because if you take the phone, it lowers the price of the other things just slightly. They're selling you the same thing at the same time. That one cable coming in. Bandwidth is such that you're only going to get so much signal. Doesn't matter what it is. Now, the phone works while the TV works, and the phone never buffers. But the phone's real narrow bandwidth. It's only sound. Pretty much the same thing they used to send over an AM signal on the air, and quality's about the same. The TV is a narrow bandwidth. I know they have a lot of channels, but it's still just a narrow bandwidth because you're only watching one thing at a time. They're not feeding you 50 channels all at once. If you have more than one TV, that's going to slow down too. But the internet's the thing that's really going to slow down. They say, well, you have up to 800 megabytes per second. 800 megabytes per second, that's supposed to be pretty fast. That's what they call their super fast plan. When I called and complained about my internet speed, they said, well, we can upgrade you to a super fast internet. 800 megabytes per second. At no increase in price. Hell no, they don't care. They could tell me that it was 1 million megabytes per second. They know they don't have it because that one wire can handle so much traffic. There's a bandwidth on a wire. They sell it to me. They sell it to my neighbor. They sell it to my other neighbor. They sell it to everybody that's fed on that wire. Now, there is an internet bandwidth that you can buy that's 1,200 megabytes per second. That's the fastest they sell. You're never going to see 1,200 megabytes per second. I don't care what you do. Because the minute I turn on my computer and I'm taking my usual 60 to 100 megabytes per second, and my neighbor's taking 60 to 100 megabytes per second, and you go down the line and 8 people are all taking 100 megabytes per second, that's all there is. If you take another 4 and put them on there, they have to reduce the amount of internet speed that you get, the number of pixels, or the number of bytes per second, because the wire can only deliver sequentially. All that happens is your computer is running slightly behind what the cable is giving you. It gets a signal, it decodes it, it puts it on the screen. There's a frame rate. So your computer is pulling in data, and it holds it for just a little bit of time. The faster the internet speed, the less time it has to hold it, but it always holds it a little bit. And in between those times that you're not refreshing your screen, it's refreshing somebody else's. So it's just a series of dots and dashes that you're getting, and someone else gets their dots and dashes in between the times that yours come. That's how computers work. That's why they have clock rates. Clock rates is how fast they refresh. So, when they're selling me internet and they're selling everybody else on the wire internet, I'm not getting what they're telling me I'm going to get. Now, if there's 2 computers on in a house, I could almost say, okay, you're servicing this IP address with 800 megabytes per second, but I have 8 machines running at 100 megabytes per second, so therefore I'm getting all the service that I got coming. No, that's not happening. When I have 2 computers on, I get 350 megabytes per second on each. Only between 1 and 3 in the morning. Staggered times during the day, I might get close to it, but anytime somebody else is running something, like 6 o'clock in the morning, it'll drop to 500, or it'll drop to 50, or even lower. An upload speed, never see more than 25. Just don't. Now, when you go to the Xfinity speed test, the only thing they show you is the download speed. And they show you the download speed coming to the modem. It doesn't tell you how fast the internet is coming off the modem. It tells you what came to the modem. Interesting, huh? Just like sitting at the doctor's office for your 4 o'clock appointment, and you're sitting there at 5 o'clock thinking, am I ever going to get in there? Going to the airline, where you've booked a first-class flight, and you've paid an extra $800 so that you got a seat. And they send you to the VIP lounge to wait for your flight because you're an hour early. And you're sitting in the VIP lounge. The time for your flight comes. You go to the boarding gate, and they say, well, the plane's full. You can't go. Actually happened to me in Detroit. I was supposed to fly back from New York City with a stopover in Detroit, then go to the Kalamazoo airport. I'm sitting in the Detroit airport with my brother-in-law, who arranged the flight. He flies all the time, so he's got VIP miles. And we used a little bit of it and went to the VIP lounge and sat down rather than wait out in the lobby among the thousands of people waiting to fly that night. Get to our plane, the plane's full. they overbooked the flight. Somebody else got to our seats ahead of us. We were in the VIP lounge. They were supposed to tell us the flight was ready. They never said a word. So, my brother-in-law got his money back, and we went and rented a car and drove home in the middle of the winter in the snow. Not a happy camper. I'm getting the same treatment from Xfinity. The same treatment I used to get at the doctor's office until I said, enough of this. I said, if you're not going to book a time for me, I'm just going to walk in and sit down. And then I'm going to be obnoxious until you put me back in the back room. Does it work? Nah. But I feel better because I'm just kicking them in the balls a little bit. I'm going to show you a series of photographs of my internet speeds over the last couple weeks. And the date and time is in the bottom right-hand corner. And you can watch I did a couple of videos of the time of the clock so that you can see that it's kind of bumping up. And then it reaches a high speed, and then it falls back. And it says, well, you're getting 350 megabytes per second. No, I'm not. I'm getting 350 megabytes per second briefly. It's slowly building up, trying to get to that count. Scam. My opinion, it's a scam. Do I have proof? Well, I know how the internet works. I know how cables work. I know how the feed works. I know that it's in packets and that the packets have spaces in between them. And when they send you something, they send a whole lot of signal down the line in series of packets. So when there's more packets coming down the line, your speed, the time between your packets increases, your speed slows. So that's what they're selling you. They're selling you a time slot. Just like the airline and just like the doctor's office used to do before COVID scared the pants off of them, and now they're getting back to it. I sometimes see 5 or 6 people in the waiting room, all scared and sitting 6 feet apart with their masks and their hoods on, hiding behind a newspaper. Actually, they're hiding behind their phone. So, what are we going to do about it? Beats hell out of me. I'd like to be able to say I had the answer, but I really don't. Sorry for the blanks. Don't usually get this frustrated.
Hello? Yes. Nope. If he comes at 3 to 5 and fixes that wire, we're all good.
Yes, correct. So just to make sure, sir, that they have covered everything, you were calling earlier because you're concerned of the cable wires that the technician needs to finish checking the cable wires and outside of your home. So I have successfully scheduled the technician visit for you. So have I addressed the reason of your call for today?
Yes.
All right, thank you, Sir David. And once again, this is Christine. Thank you for being the best friend of Xfinity. Bye for now, and you do have a great day, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My interaction with this company has been a non-ending series of these kind of phone calls. I call. I talk to an agent. The agent says they'll get me in touch with somebody. The phone dies. I call them back. I talk to a different agent. They say they'll get the problem solved. I don't hear anything. Then somebody gets on the line and says they want to reset my modem. I don't need my modem reset. We already know what the problem is. I have a brand new modem sitting over there on the shelf. I have a new wire from the outside of the house to the modem. The wire on the outside of the house going from the pole across the road to the other pole is bad. The agent or the technician was already out here and did this. He and I spoke about it, and I said, I'll get the branch out of the way that's in your way so you can get to the pole. Silly thing, they don't cut branches. Their wires get into the trees and anything happens to the wires, they just say, well, it's not our problem, it's yours. Well, it just happens it's in the neighbor's yard. It's not even in my yard. It's not my wire. It's their wire. But they can't touch it because it's cutting a tree. I don't know if they got some wood fetish or what. But whatever the reason is, they don't touch trees. So I went out, took poles off, trimmed the branch out of the way, and I spent the last 2.5 hours trying to get through to somebody to tell them the tree is clear. You can come out and finish the job. I don't understand what's wrong with this crew. They don't get a thing. Not a single thing. Just as much resistance on this job as I can possibly think of. $130 a month for something that doesn't work because I have no phone, I have no internet, I have no TV. $130 a month. What do you think that I should do?
Terrified of her as well.
The Queen always had a tremendous amount of authority and power in Diana's life, and Diana made an effort to understand her, but never could. She always used to say to me that she found her kind of baffling, this kind of hysterical way that she just behaved, and the style of Diana was very, very different to the style of the Queen.
Most of the public charity work she cherished.
I hope you can find it in your hearts to understand and to give me the time and space that has been lacking in recent years.
Diana would eventually go on to champion other causes. She was too bright a light.
This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the U.S. or 16 in the European Union without the express written permission of the parents or the legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.